Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about a heat wave that actually will be occurring this weekend. This heat wave is going to be pretty dangerous. It's going to be very dangerous, in fact. So, it's probably the most dangerous event that would be happening throughout the year, as a storm by itself, a tornado, affects way less people than one giant heat wave where temperatures are reaching 100 to 90 degrees over vast metropolitan areas. So definitely this is concerning, very dangerous, but it will be again occurring from around Saturday into Monday of the next into next week. I want to let you guys know that despite this summer being one giant heat wave, as it seems, there are still phases of, I guess, more moderate temperatures like we're in right now, and phases of way hotter temperatures. And it's tough at this point for even me to recognize where the heat is, because it's been so darn warm that in order for it to be a heat wave, it just has to be extremely warm, which probably makes the problem even worse, if that makes any sense. I don't know. If you guys would like to consider subscribing to to my channel, I am the #1 meteorologist in the world. No, of course, I'm kidding. I'm just a weather enthusiast. I do all sorts of weather-related content. So if you guys would like to subscribe to that, that'd be awesome. And if you could like the video, that would mean a lot as well. Or not. I really can't tell you what to do. So let's take a look at the GFS air temperatures, right? So right now, as I said, we're in a more moderate phase. You can see that there's some pretty drastic cooling across the northern U.S. Really, some nice 50s and 60s during the night. More normal, if you will. But then notice that, let's go back actually. If you notice today, Monday, there was heat advisories and heat warnings across all of the Northeast, and that was the same deal on Sunday, and you can see that kind of continues Tuesday, just a little bit further to the south, but it generally isn't awfully too bad across the Midwest and even parts of the South. It's hot, but it's not a just atrocious heat wave, which could be coming this week. But notice that as we move into Thursdays, things start getting a bit hotter, especially towards the plains. You can see we get into the upper 90s, then we start getting a little bit of a relief, if you will, across the South. Maybe for a couple of days, but really, it just seems to be consistently warm, and this is where things go pretty wild. You can see Saturday we start getting widespread 80s and 90s all the way up into southern Canada. You can see hundreds across much of Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, much into the southeastern states. And if we were to look into Sunday, which could be the peak of this, you could see widespread 80s. Most likely this will be into the 90s. This is probably a bit underdone by the GFS. So widespread hundreds and 90s all the way to the Canadian border, all the way from the northeast to the southwest. So this is a nationwide heat wave affecting a lot of the U.S., maybe, just excluding parts of the Northwest. Extreme parts of the Southwest may not be, in a worse situation, closer to average, but you can see it gets cruel. Monday, we have widespread 90s, hundreds, really just not good news. While we are seeing a bit of relief on Monday to the north, and you can see that kind of spreads to the south as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. The heat is centered across this part of the country more so than the north, but it still is warm, and we see possibly just a ridiculous heat scenario occurring across Oklahoma and Texas into early August, which we'll have to talk about possibly on its own video. But you can see that later on it does show signs of cooling off towards the north, just the south. It stays hot in the south till September most of the time. Look at the 2-minute temperature anomaly. There's a bit of cooler air, if you will, but it's gonna be mainly dominated by the warm colors. Again, the GFS does kind of do a poor job of this. It shows way more blue coloring than it should. The only area that I agree with that should be cool is right now the Midwest. This week will be a bit cooler. But notice that by Saturday, Sunday, this is all red. And you can see that during the day, they put a lot of blues in. That's mainly to do with the cloud cover. And the GFS is really flawed with that. But this is kind of the true coloring. You can see heat waves, just bright colors across Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, It seems like this region will be the hardest hit, kind of the Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota area. And the European does a much better job of presenting this heat wave than the GFS, so I'll show you that. But you could see a bit of cooling possibly during the nights, if any, or during the days. It's really the nights that are just going to be more of an anomaly the GFS is pointing out. But you can see still just warm air, just really not getting rid of it at all, surrounded by all sides. The GEFS ensembles do a better job of showing this, if you will. You could see that we have a bunch of models. That's what an ensemble is made out of. A bunch of GFS-like models. You can see cooler air for now across the Midwest quickly starts dwindling, and then Saturday, Sunday, you can see we get widespread heat across the, especially the northern U.S. The South also is going to be obviously warm, but just maybe not as warm compared to average as some of the northern locations. But you could see a few pockets far in between of blue coloring below average. Everywhere else, it's just hot as Hades, and that most likely won't stop into August. It looks like August is going to be a very warm month as well. And if we were to look at, say, the European ensembles, or just the European model, you can see it definitely shows that heat pretty viciously across the northern U.S., maybe excluding portions of the Four Corners area. And then generally, we see another possible heat wave occurring across to maybe now centered more towards the northwest. 6 to 10 day outlook gives us a better look at this, as this heat wave will be occurring around. Sorry about that, I was yawning. So I do apologize about that little break. But the heat wave is going to be occurring from around the 24th through the 28th, the worst. You can see this is from the 26th to the 30th, so it kind of encompasses that, but you can see where it shows just ridiculously above average temperatures across a good portion of the Midwest. You know, like the confidence is just very high. But anywhere, basically in the United States, the chances are wherever you land, you'll be on the warmer side of things. And even if you are slightly warmer during the summer, you know, it's going to feel hot. It does not take a lot of, you know, heat in the summertime, or a lot of an abnormal warmth to cause a heat wave. You know, we're at the hottest time of the year, at right around now. Come August, things definitely start cooling off, though. You know, sometimes August have reputation for being very hot. This one will probably be very hot as well, though. Again, July is probably going to be hotter, as that's just when the hottest temperatures occur across the northern hemisphere. I want to show you the European model now, and you can see a brief change of websites. It's Pivotal Weather now. It has a European model, shows way better options than what Tropical Tidbits does. But again, as I was saying, the European outdoes the GFS in terms of the temperatures in a much more, I guess, elegant way. You can see that what we're seeing right now is generally cooler air across the Midwest, especially during the daytime. You can see that there's, you know, the anomalies are cooler compared to average, 11 to 12 degrees below average, while the days or the nights remain rather on the warm side. And notice as we get further and further on, that those blue colors really just start disappearing, and we start they start getting replaced by just the overall warm colors. I mean, just look at this map. While the anomalies aren't great, it's almost 100% of the United States, other than some mountain ranges and a few areas in the west, and just a few random areas like the UP of Michigan and Arrowhead that are a bit cooler. Everywhere else it's warm, and it's a good 5 to 10 degrees warmer. And this will only continue as we go into Saturday. You can see this starts amplifying to the point of where it's 15 to 20 degrees above average, when the average is already 85. So if you get 20 degrees, 85 plus 20 is 105. So you definitely start seeing, you know, dangerous temperatures, dangerous heat wave. That's just no other way to put it. And you can see that we see that amplify through Sunday. We see loads of heat, especially look further up north. I mean, 30 to 40 degrees above average in some locations in Fahrenheit. So just ridiculous amounts. Again, only region where it may be cooler is the Four Corners and parts of Texas. Anywhere else, though, it remains hot. And you notice that towards the longer range in the Europeans' time model, we start seeing the West really heat up, and that's especially, you know, the Pacific Northwest. So that's not good. But again, most of the United States stays warm as well. So really, we're all in this together, if you will. there's basically no escaping from the heat. You'll see it in one way or another. The East Coast had their fair share this past couple of days. The Midwest will over the weekend, and the West will have it in the longer range. So that's another heat wave. And if you were to look at the actual temperatures of the West at that time, you would see that they're just beyond ridiculous. So let's take a look at what the European has to say for this upcoming weekend. You could see widespread 80s, 90s heat indexes, definitely into the hundreds, even as far north as Minneapolis or Green Bay. Look at that, just widespread hundreds across, and 90s, upper 90s and hundreds across portions of the West, even into the higher elevations. So that is just cruel heat. And look at that, possibly 111, 112 in Washington. That is just not something you see every year at all. This may not even be an occurrence that hasn't occurred in the past decades. In the past decade, you could see, and in, Montana, just again, intense heat. North Dakota, South Dakota, really widespread heat, and the East Coast, maybe a bit portions of the Northeast, extreme Northeast like Maine, and that's about it. We'll see a bit cooler temperatures at times, but just really unpleasant temperatures. And if you look at the peninsula of Florida for this, or southern Texas, also seeing heat, and the anomalies are off the charts. So not good news if you're a cool weather lover. It's basically just going to be warm. And I think that for the first half of fall, it looks as if the heat will prevail. It will be above average, I think. And then maybe towards October, November, things start cooling off, right? But at this point, it may continue for a bit longer than that. And that's, I guess, we're going into the long range now and deviating from the actual heat wave. But I will be providing more updates about these heat waves. Stay safe, guys. This is something that's dangerous. Needs to be taken with caution. The heat waves are probably one of the more dangerous things because cars heat up. You have people in cars that babies, young kids that you could leave behind. There's many deaths that happen like that, and they're obviously accidents. But it's a loss that could be prevented by an easy check. So make sure to do that. Don't leave anyone behind in a car, especially if they're a younger kid and don't know how to, get out of it themselves. Open the doors or crack open the windows because, when you have 100 degrees and the car is going to heat up to 140, 150 within a matter of 30 minutes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe. Consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to this channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.